So I've been getting a lot of questions about how to build these AI agents for real estate. And honestly, it's not as complicated as you might think. In this video, I'm going to walk you through everything on how to actually set one of these up, how to configure it in GoHighLevel, how to write some of the prompts, and how to actually have it set up so it's running for your business. It's the same process I use for all of my clients. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So now how to actually build the AI agents for a real estate wholesale business. This is gonna be life-changing for you because now you're gonna have an AI actually qualifying all of the leads for you 24/7, booking them on your calendar and looking like this lovely guy right here, doing all of the work for you. Where previously you would have had to have VAs or your lead manager or acquisition managers do for you, you're gonna have AI do all for you at a fraction of the cost and working 24/7 for you. So what you're gonna need to actually set this all up is you're gonna need two tools, very simple. GoHighLevel is the sales and marketing platform CRM that we use to be able to deliver on this. And they have a bunch of different things that you can build on top of this. But we like to use GoHighLevel, and they added a feature where you can also build AI agents within GoHighLevel. Once you sign up for it, set up your account, you're then gonna also need a large language model and AI LLM, something like Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, whatever you like to use, choose to use, whatever is your preferred. I personally like to use Claude. I really like the way they give responses, and you can set up projects in there and give a bunch of custom information. Like if I show here, you can set up a whole bunch of projects. And if you're familiar with using actually Claude, you know what that all looks like, and you can give it a whole bunch of information that will then actually give you better responses for what you're looking to do in your business. So I would highly recommend using Claude, but you can use any of the other ones. You would then, after you've got that set up and you know exactly what you're going to use, you would first go to GoHighLevel and go to the AI agent section that they have within whatever account you have set up for yourself, and go through that AI agents, go to the conversational AI, and then go to the settings within that bot. That's the first thing it's going to take you to do. Give it the name. This is the one that we have set up for one of our accounts. Is a realtor initial SMS bot. This one qualifies leads for us, realtors, to see if they work with investment properties. I come from the real estate wholesale business, so that's a lot of the work that previously you would have to have done by VA or yourself, but you can now have AI agents doing that for you. So you would give it a name. You would make sure you turn it on and put it on autopilot as you want it responding for you automatically. And after that point, you would scroll down, and these are three settings that you want to make sure you put in the right format. This is very important because this is going to drive how the actual autopilot works for the AI. So very self-explanatory. Wait time before responding. This right here set up at 30 seconds. I would honestly recommend doing it between 1 and 2 minutes, truthfully, just so that it's not like too quick to where whoever is actually having the conversation with it might come off a little bit weird. It's like, how you're responding so goddamn fast. But if it works for your business, then you can absolutely do it. But I would recommend around 1 to 2 minutes. 3 minutes is even fine. And then you can set up how long of a conversation you want the AI to actually have. So the maximum amount of messages it can send out. We have it right now to 25, and that's the max that GoHighLevel actually allows you to set up. I honestly recommend putting it at the max. Usually conversations don't actually go that long. They usually range between 10 messages or less, truthfully, but it's better safe than sorry, so we set it to the max. And then the other important key point here is that when you're actually setting up the bot, you then have this setting right here that GoHighLevel has, is that if you ever send a message manually, what you want the AI to do is turn off or go to sleep for 24 hours. So you can turn that on. And I have it turned on because I see that a lot of times if I ever want to step into a conversation, I just want it to shut off automatically because I'm going to usually pick up the lead from that point on. So we have it turned off for 24 hours. And then the other important key point, if you're very familiar with GoHighLevel and how workflows work within GoHighLevel, is that you can also set up automations to run for you. And whenever you're setting up those automations, you can have it turn on as well, but that means that it'll stop the AI. So for example, if you're looking to send out an automated SMS or follow-up sequence within GoHighLevel, what you need to do if you have this setting turned on is immediately activate the bot right after. So that's like super, super important. And I have a tab here showing exactly what that looks like. So you send out that SMS you want to send out to the contact, and then right after you want to actually activate that bot again. Make sure you turn it on as active. Very important step, because if you build out all of these follow-ups and then don't actually put that in place, then you're not going to have the AI doing essentially the work you're trying to have it do for you. So make sure you actually do that whenever you're setting up any of the workflows. After you get to that point of setting up the bot settings and putting that all together, you'll then go to the actual bot goals. I usually skip over the bot training. You can put some like knowledge bases into it. I haven't really played with it too much. You can test it out, but I don't use any of it as of yet. But from the bot goals, you're going to be giving this setting to actually set up this configuration. I'm stumbling over more words right now. Personality, intent, and additional information. This is how the actual meat and potatoes of your AI is going to actually look like. The personality is going to be obviously who it is, how it's going to behave in terms of who it's actually role playing as, basically. The intent is going to be the behavior that it actually takes on and what steps it does within the conversation and things like that. And the additional information is anything you'd want to add on top of what's already been given within the personality and the intent. So you would give usually a lot of information within the additional information. Sounds very funny, sounds very self-explanatory. A very important point here is that whenever you're setting up the actual prompts themselves for your AI that you're using with ChatGPT or Claude and you're having it set these up for you, you want to make sure that you put these into custom values. And if you're not familiar with GoHighLevel and how that works, custom values is basically a key that you would plug in instead of actually pasting the actual information itself. Now, why this is very important is because within GoHighLevel, they actually have a limit of words that you can put into the prompts, which can hurt you if you're trying to, add more information, make sure that the performance of the AI does exactly what you want it to do. They actually have a limit. So the way that I found to actually bypass that is by using custom values to actually replace that, because you would just paste the key in there and fill that all out. So what that essentially looks like, if you want to set this up, is that you would go to the settings of your actual account, you'd go to the custom values, and then from the custom values, you'd set up the key that you want to have. And you'd set up the name of it, and then the value, which actually contains the prompt, whether it's the personality, intent, or additional information, and you would put that in there. So what that looks like, from right here, I have an example. We have a realtor follow-up bot, and we have the personality as one of the custom values that we use. And then we paste in the whole prompt that the ChatGPT, Claude, or whichever one you use actually gave you, so that you then bypass the actual stuff. So as soon as you create it, you'd hit update. It would then give you a key. So custom value, realtor follow-up bot, intent. You would copy that key, and then you'd go ahead and actually paste it into the according one it is. So we break it down: personality, intent, and additional information. You'd make a custom value for each of them. You see right here, you can set them up, and that allows you to bypass this word limit so that you're not actually having to deal with any of that, because it's kind of whack whenever you run out of space to be able to actually give it more information so it performs better for your leads and your conversations. After you've got that all set up, you're going to give the AI a prompt to actually create a conversational AI agent for you. So you're using AI to build AI agent for you, which is what a funny world we live in. But whichever one you're using, you want to make sure that you tell the AI to break it down into the personality, intent, and additional information. So if you're using ChatGPT, you would give it a prompt that's like, hey, I'm looking to set up a GoHighLevel AI, conversational AI bot that's going to qualify leads for me for, whatever business you're in. I use real estate to qualify real estate wholesale leads for me for this marketing channel. Be very specific. The more information you give it, the better. But obviously tell the AI to break it down into a prompt setup of personality, intent, and additional information. This is very important because that's exactly what you're then going to put into the custom values and then fill that into the actual bot itself. A key note here that I also have saved here is that the intent drives behavior. And I'm doubling down on bringing this up because I had situations where I was building out the bot and I would put in the prompt in the additional information, a lot of details that I wanted it to do or take action on, and it wasn't doing any of that stuff. It was completely bypassing it. So to actually drive behavior from the actual AI bot, you want to put that information in the intent. So the example of what that looks like is, this is an example of an intent we have set up for one of the bots. And it goes: qualify real estate agents through a 5-stage conversation flow to determine their frequency of investment property opportunities and assign grades A, B, and C. Progress systematically through active status, investment properties, current availability, frequency, and property details if they are available. So see how it's going through this systematically. That's how the AI is going to then behave in the conversation. That's kind of what I'm looking at whenever I'm looking to emphasize that intent drives behavior. So whatever you tell the intent to actually take place on, that's how it's going to behave in the conversation. Very important. Make sure you add that information there and set it up the way you want to. So after that point, you're then going to scroll down from after setting it up over here and going through this. You're going to then set up actions on the actual AI. So there's multiple actions that GoHighLevel has. They're constantly adding new more things. But right now they have these where you can set appointments. So have it to do appointments for you, trigger different workflows, add contact info. You can have actions to where it stops the bot, transfers it over, and then follow up, which is very, very important as well. So I have it over here, a quick description of what each of them do and how many you can add for each. So for the trigger workflows, you can add up to 5 different trigger workflows. And what that looks like, I actually put up one of the AIs here. For the trigger workflows, it looks something like this. So this is for the realtor initial SMS bot. If during the conversation at any point that lead that we're speaking with, which would be a realtor, has a property, then we want it to actually trigger this workflow to where it transitions it to another bot. So agent confirms they have a property available. Now, this is a very basic condition that you would give, but you put something like this. And again, use AI, use Claude, use ChatGPT to give you a super lined up one that actually makes sense. And then it makes sure that the AI behaves this manner. So it then triggers another workflow. And again, you can select whichever workflows you want to put in there to actually do that for you. And that's how that works. You can only set up 5, which is honestly rather unfortunate. I'd like to set up a whole bunch more, but 5 is plenty enough as long as you structure it properly. And I got some other life hacks on how to make sure you have as many different workflows going off of one AI agent. And then what you also want to do as well is add contact info. You can add as many as you'd like for this. So what that means is that at any point during the conversation, you want the AI to actually pick up on specific details that the AI is having with the lead. Then you can have the instructions be set up within the action. So for example, property address shows up, update the address of a property. So that's what you want to have updated in the field. As long as you include that as something the AI will then behave in that manner, include that within the prompt and tell it, hey, make sure you collect property details and ask about the address. And then you give examples on how to actually respond back, or basically fill that information in for you in the contact field itself and give examples on how to do it. We have other ones set up here, and you can add as many of these. I tried maxing it out, but I didn't really need that many, but you can add as many as you'd like for that one. So the stop bot is the next one. With the stop bot, there's only 5 that you can use, which truthfully you shouldn't need too many, but this is anytime you actually want the AI or the bot to stop from having a conversation and you want it to end. So very basic examples: at any point, if a lead says they're not interested or don't ever want to talk to you, you would give the condition, agent says not interested or wants to opt out. Some example phrases of what that would look like. These are some example ones that we have set up for one of the accounts. No worries, thanks for letting me know. Wish you the best in your ventures is the final message that gets sent out after the AI bot recognizes, oh, they don't actually want to work with us. And then the other workaround, this is your life hack here, is that whenever you actually set up a tag, so you can have it to where as soon as the bot stops, then you actually give it a tag for you. And in that tag, if you're familiar with GoHighLevel workflows, you can have that tag then trigger a workflow for you and then set up a whole bunch of automations. Usually what we do with something like this is that if they say they're not interested, we go ahead and remove them from all the workflows, mark them as D&D, make sure they're scrubbed out of all of our lists so that we never hit them back up and run into any issues. We're not ever getting any sort of a lawsuits from people. We're not ever getting sued, which we don't want any of that stuff. And then the final one, which is, I would say, the best one, is the auto follow. You can add up to 5 different follow-up sequences from that. So what the settings actually looks like is this one shows 2 minutes after. You would probably set it up towards like 1 day. It follows up 1 day after. And you can have it set up as well to where you let the AI actually send a message for you instead of you having something pre-templated yourself. If you want to have something pre-templated yourself, well, then they also have the lovely feature of you can trigger another workflow and then tell it what workflow to assign, and then put the no response sequence and the follow-up sequence that you want to have specifically for that lead. I usually like to let the AI have all of the follow-up be done for me, and I add a few trigger workflows to set up a whole bunch of different suite of automations for the actual account, but you can do that as well whenever you're setting up the actual AI agent. And like I mentioned here, keynote is make sure you update any details of the actions you set up into the prompt of the bot itself. This is very important because you don't want to set up these actions and then not actually have the AI agent do that for you. So the way to double down so that it actually does it, and you got to test this out, is that within the additional information, you actually tell it what you just set up. So for example here, when there's a property available trigger, this is like I grabbed this straight from the prompt that we have set up on one of our accounts. From that same prompt, we have it to where it's like if the agent ever says have a property, got something, listing available, anything like that, we have a response that we like for it to send out. And then we also tell it there's an action that it needs to take, which is trigger a workflow. And we give the same name of the workflow that we have set up in the account and then tag as property available. This actually, we don't even use any of this. I don't know why this is there, but you would make sure that it actually triggers the workflow, collect property details. So if we pull this one up right here, and we go to the trigger workflow, the same sort of instructions you would give in here, make sure you also put into the additional information so that the AI actually behaves and actually takes action on that. So very important point there, because I ran into a lot of situations where I did not have that set up and I was like, what the heck's going on here? So make sure you do that. After you've got that all set up, now you're testing the actual AI. And lovely GoHighLevel actually has something to where like you can test your bot right here, and like you can actually have a conversation right away and just see how it performs, see how it has a conversation with you. Hey, quick one, are you still active in real estate? Yes. Who are you? And just test out how it's responding. It's phenomenal because immediately as you're making iterations, as you're changing the prompt, as you're setting up different things, you want to be able to test it right away. And this is phenomenal. So I'm based in connecting with agents on property opportunities. Do you ever work with homes needing updates or buildable lots? The reason it doesn't include any information here is because the actual test AI doesn't have anything saved as like who it's acting as its assigned user. So it won't actually say anything, but you want to make sure that what you're looking from this is like if it's going through the conversation flow that you set up, if it's responding according to all the information that you put in there, and you're testing it out, seeing if it actually does the job that you're looking for. So it goes through. Awesome. Got anything you're working on right now that might be a fit? And I'm going to say not at the moment. And again, just see how the actual AI performs for you, because then you're going to launch this and have it working for all your leads. So you want to make sure it's doing a pretty good job. No worries. You usually come across projects that didn't work pretty often. You see, and you're going through and having the actual conversation, so you get to test it out. Test it out as much as possible. It's very important. You don't want to ever want to launch this live, and it's actually not having the conversations you want to do. It's actually doing it worse. So make sure that you test it really well and set everything up properly. So after that as well, you then also want to test it out with a real phone number and go live with it on your own. So you can test it out right there within what GoHighLevel allows you to test it out. But what I would highly encourage you to do is actually test it out with your own personal cell phone number as well, or someone else's, and set one up, because the actual test AI feature right here, it won't actually test the setup actions that you went through and actually put up. So the setup actions that I'm talking about is these. That test AI won't trigger any sort of workflows or add any contact info or do any of the follow-up. It won't do any of these actions. It won't let you test these out. So you have to test it out live with an actual phone number and have it go through, or whatever messaging channel you use. So you can test all the trigger workflows, make sure everything fires off properly. This is very important because, again, the last thing you would want is for this to actually break on you. So you got to do a lot of extensive testing on this. And once you got that all done, that's basically everything. So quick recap on what you need and how to set everything up. You're going to use GoHighLevel and whatever large language model you want to use, whatever AI, Claude, ChatGPT. You're then going to build the AI agent using the LLM, set it up to where it breaks it down into 3 specific prompts: the personality, intent, and additional information. That's the way GoHighLevel had to set up. So make sure that the AI does that same exact structure. And then you're going to set up the actions for it, the trigger workflows, any sort of auto follow-ups. If you wanted to add contact info, the stop bot, make sure you set up all of those actions that work specifically for your business model and what you're actually looking to do. And then test out the AI, and then you can launch it. And you'll be looking like this lovely guy right here. Mission accomplished, and now he's got his AI working 24/7, business running on autopilot, leads are coming in qualified. So you would set that up. So that's how you actually set up an AI agent within GoHighLevel and have it running, qualifying leads for you, triggering automations, basically have it running your whole business, especially if you build a really, really fire system with it. So that's a quick video on. So I just showed you how to build this from scratch, but honestly, most of you don't want to spend the weeks it takes to figure out all the technical stuff. If you want me to audit your business and create a custom AI plan for you, there's a link in the description to book a strategy call. If this helped, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.